The Senate Intelligence Committee holding a hearing about possible Russian tampering with our election. Were there any bombshells? Then Ivanka gets an official gig in the White House. Critics say it shouldn't be allowed. We'll debate whether or not it's really a big deal. Also, Bill de Blasio on the wrong side of an ethics rule again. We're going to tell you what the New York mayor did this time. Good evening, everybody, and welcome to RFL. I'm Richard French. As usual, a busy and a crazy day in Washington. We start with a lot of news when it comes to, you guessed it, Russia. New York Times reporting today that two White House officials helped give House Intelligence Committee Chair Devin Nunes information about possible surveillance of the Trump campaign. Now, that caused a political firestorm after Nunes, you may remember, held that press conference to announce there was possible surveillance. Trouble is, he never shared it with his own committee before going to those microphones. And that left, among others, ranking Democrat Adam Schiff, as well as the rest of the committee, in the dark and livid. Since then, the committee has been at a standstill. Schiff says Nunes canceled a hearing that was supposed to happen this week with significant testimony from significant players. Schiff commented on the Times report just a couple hours ago.
There is a cloud over the investigation as a result of the way the materials were provided.
While the House Intel Committee deals with its dysfunction, the Senate Committee, they held a hearing of its own today. Here's the top Republicans and Democrat playing, at least for now, nice with one another.
The Vice Chairman and I understand the gravity of the issues that we're here reviewing and have decided that it's crucial that we take the rare step of discussing publicly an ongoing intelligence question. That's why we've convened this second open hearing on the topic of Russian active measures.
I want to make clear, at least for me, this information is not about whether you have a D or an R next to your name. It is not about relitigating last fall's election. It is about clearly understanding and responding to this very real threat. It's also, I believe, about holding Russia accountable for this unprecedented attack on our democracy.
Let's hope those words ring true. Now, here is one of the witnesses today who is a cybersecurity expert.
Through the end of 2015 and start of 2016, the Russian influence system began pushing themes and messages seeking to influence the outcome of the U.S. presidential election. Russia's overt media outlets and covert trolls sought to sideline opponents on both sides of the political spectrum with adversarial views towards the Kremlin. They were in full swing during both the Republican and Democratic primary season.
Now, a stream of witnesses took to the stand to explain the sophisticated way the Russians try to impact elections in America, as for that matter, other nations as well. You know, if we take a deep breath and just take a little look back, the past year has recalibrated the American senses to what is possible, what is unelectable, and even believable. When our own commander-in-chief tells us, and that's we the people when I say us, not to believe our intelligence agencies or even credible press labeling both as fake news, we have officially jumped the shark. Tragically, this isn't a bad episode of Happy Days, but instead, it's our new collective reality. So, as the daily episodes of As Trump Turns churn out one more bizarre episode than the last, two troubling consequences, I believe, are emerging. First, the numbing to chaos. Because the daily drumbeat of ineptitude, lies, conflicts of interest, and possible treason are coming so fast and furious, people are understandably having a hard time distinguishing between a tweet storm about a crowd size to actually potentially aiding the enemy in corrupting our election and impeding its subsequent investigation. Secondly, I fear people will begin to accept what we've seen in the last 70 days as our new normal, when trust and expectation of our leaders are a thing of the past. Today, well, it only perpetuated those fears. If anyone still harbored any doubts that Representative Devin Nunes was either a stooge for the administration or was duped by them, today confirmed the worst suspicions. The New York Times revelations, they revealed profound questions once again about the White House's handling of intelligence and that they now seem to be the source of yet another cover-up. Regardless, Nunes is now confirmed to be a dishonest broker. Now step back for a second. What are we talking about here? We are talking about the alleged coordination and collusion with the Russians to throw our election, and we have to worry now about our own electeds on the flipping oversight committee to actually be pursuing the truth instead of coordinating with the very guy in his office that's being investigated. You can't make this up, and I'm sorry, but it does bear repeating. So now, we put our faith in the Senate, and we hope that that body, and its Republicans more specifically, will put country before party. Call me naive, but I'm an optimist. So I will hope for the best. But the chilling testimony today, detailing the lengths that Russians will go with cyber terror, their motivations, and their history, should put to rest any doubts that the enemy we are dealing with, how serious it is, and the task that lies before the hopefully honest brokers now in the Senate. It really bears close watch. All right, coming up next, FBI Director James Comey. He's right in the middle of yet another controversy on Capitol Hill. The panel will join us and we'll discuss.